The Amtrak Acelas are being replaced. The new Avelia Liberty train sets are just around the corner. Literally. So I decided to take one last ride in first class on these amazing trains while they are still the fastest passenger train in North America.
So welcome back to Epic Rail Adventures. This is the Amtrak Acela from Washington, DC all the way up to New York. Let's get started.
Our adventure begins at the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. This is a station I have wanted to visit for a long time. The beautiful architecture outside flows seamlessly to the Grand Hall inside. It is magnificent. Once you're inside, it's like a mall. There's food outlets, shops, and everything else you could ever need. But for us, we need to find the Metropolitan Lounge. Luckily, it isn't very hard to find. After checking in at the front desk, we find a nice place to sit.
So there's one big reason that I'm going to New York City. The last time I was there, I did not have the chance to get to Hamburger America. Are we going to New York for food? Kind of. There's another reason as well, but we'll find that out later.
But right now, let's see what the lounge has to offer. The Metropolitan Lounge is included for free if you have a first-class ticket or a sleeper ticket on a long-distance train. You can also purchase a day pass. These lounges are only available at a select few stations, so make sure to check Amtrak's website to see if your station has one. There is a newly put in place 3-hour time limit at these lounges as well, so don't come too early. A selection of free snacks, drinks, and coffee will be available for you. And there is plenty of seating, although during more popular times, it could get busy. The DC Lounge also has a very nice business center.
As far as Metropolitan Lounges go, it is nice to have a quiet, air-conditioned space to hang out in and wait for your train, but this one is pretty small. The furniture is starting to get a little dated. The food selection is quite small, especially compared to New York Penn Station. It's nice to have a quiet, semi-private space to hang out and wait for your train, and of course you will get priority boarding, but there's not a whole lot of offerings compared to some of the others. Even Chicago has a lot more snacks and other stuff, and New York Penn Station is one of the best, and hopefully I'll be able to bring you there soon, but it is nice having somewhere to go at least, but it's definitely not high on my list. But still, if you have the ticket, it's worth checking out, but I wouldn't get the ticket just for the lounge. And that's one of the things I really like showing you here on Epic Rail Adventures. Everything, even the not so good. It's still a great space, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't get a first class ticket just so you have access to the lounge.
Our train begins boarding, so we get ready to head to the platform. Once at the platform, our train is waiting for us and we board right into Car 1, first class. The seats are very spacious and comfortable. We'll take a closer look at them in a few moments. Before long, our attendant comes around and offers us free water before we depart.
And just like that, we are off and already on our way to New York, so let's sit back, get some work done, and enjoy the views outside.
Even with someone sitting across from me, there is still plenty of room on the table for both of us to have our laptops out and get a little work done as we speed north. There is free Wi-Fi on the train, but unfortunately they seem to block speed tests. It was still plenty fast and I was able to work without issue. It's not perfect though, so be prepared for possible interruptions. Meals were served not too long after departure, and you could choose between either breakfast or lunch. You could not have both. It was still early enough, I decided to have breakfast and went with the Denver omelet.
As far as Denver omelets go, that is probably the best one that I have ever had at 125 miles an hour. It might be the only one, but it's still the best one.
Now that we've had our breakfast, let's take a 120-mile-an-hour tour of the Acela and see what these trains were and are still like before they're fully replaced. Up first is where we currently are, first class. These seats are arranged in a 2x1 configuration with some seats at tables. Luckily, all seats on the Acela are assigned and you can choose them ahead of time. The single seats do go fast, but sometimes it's nice to sit with others. When you book, you are able to choose your car and seating location. You can also see what other seats are reserved or available. All cars have a luggage storage area as well as an overhead compartment similar to an airplane, and they are very spacious. Business class makes up the rest of the train, and seats are in a 2x2 configuration with a few tables as well. You can also reserve your car and seats here just like in first class. The cars are fully open between each other, making it easier to get around the train. But do be careful, as there are still plenty of moving parts between them. Card number 2 will always be the quiet car, and it's perfect to get a little rest or just sit in silence if that's what you prefer. But now, my favorite car, the Cafe. The Cafe car is a little different on the Acela, as there is not a lot of open seating, except for a few benches on this one side. The food selection, however, is much better than your typical Amtrak Cafe car. Here's a look at the menu at the time of filming. There was a bit too much glare, so here's a better look at it. It's still a fun place to hang out, as long as it's not too busy.
The Cafe car is also a great place to come if you need to take a phone call. The business quiet car is just that, it's a quiet car, so no phone calls, no noise, try to keep talking to a minimum. First class, it's frowned upon, but okay, and in business class as well. It's definitely keep headphones on, don't be talking on speaker, but the Cafe car, it's a place where you can talk loudly and take care of what you need to take care of, but try to keep the seats open for, people that really want it or really need it, especially if they're going to be eating. Don't hang out here the whole time, but don't be afraid to come by and check it out. The cafe options here are much better than on the Northeast Regional or some of the smaller trains. Even on some of the long distance trains, the cafe here has some really great choices, so definitely give it a shot. I'm excited to see what the new trains have compared to this one, but we're just going to have to wait and see for that.
Now is also a great time to explain why and how I'm taking first class. See, I only paid for a business class ticket, however, due to all the trips I've taken on Amtrak, I was able to get select status with Amtrak Rewards. It's totally free to sign up, and you do get some awesome benefits like 2 free upgrades, 2 lounge passes, and 2 10% off coupons to use throughout the year. There's a few other perks as well, and this is not sponsored by the way, it's just a pretty cool program. It is a bittersweet moment sitting in the cafe car though, knowing that this will most likely be my last ride with the Gen 1 Acelas. I haven't been on them a ton, but enough to where it's a little sad to see them go. I am excited to see what the new ones have to offer, and I'm sure they'll be much quieter. Still, this was a great last ride, but let's keep moving and see what the rest of the train looks like. After all, that is the point of my entire channel here, not only to bring you along on the adventures with me, but show you everything you need to know about the train so you know what to expect if you're going to ride it yourself. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to toss a like or even subscribe. If you really like it, you could always become a member too. My videos go live to members at least 2 weeks early, and you won't want to miss next month's video. We are going to check out a train route that hasn't been around since 1997 and go to a very special destination. But let's get back to our train and finish up our tour. Starting at your seat, the seats are the same in business class as they are in first, with the exception of the single row. They are virtually identical in terms of size, comfort, and legroom. Here at a table seat, you can see there's plenty of room, and you do get an outlet next to you. Recline controls are on your armrest, right next to the old, no longer used music controls. Just push the button and lean back. there isn't a lot of recline, but it's just enough to get comfortable, at least for me. If you do book a table, there is plenty of room for anything you will need to use it for. Even the smaller ones in the single rows are huge. Above you, there are reading lights if you need any extra lighting. They do have a bright dim feature, although the difference is not very noticeable. At the double seats, there is plenty of legroom, even if you are a taller person. The seats are wide enough where if you are seated next to a stranger, you won't have to fight for space. The tray tables lift out of the seat in front of you, and they're a little different, but not too weird. There's plenty of space for a laptop, although if you do have the aisle seat, keep in mind the outlet will be up against the wall, not in between the seats. The lighting on these cars still holds up pretty well, and it's pretty bright. Of course, we can't forget about our footrest. It's not as adjustable as some of the others, but still, depending on how tall you are, it helps out a bit. Now for the least glamorous, but most important part of the tour, the bathrooms. Let's first take a look at the accessible bathroom. These will be the same throughout the train, not just first class, and there are multiple. So let's see what the bathroom looks like on the old Acelas in first class. You have a sink with hot and cold water. You have a toilet, of course with toilet paper and trash, as well as even a changing table. This is absolutely an accessible bathroom, and it does advertise itself as such. Plenty of space to do what you need to do. Of course, the non-accessible bathroom is going to be a little bit smaller, and your mirror a little wavier. You have your sink, and you have your throne. There's a little bit of water on the ground, and with how bumpy it's been, I'm not too surprised. But of course, still has everything you need, including a window. Not quite as spacious as the other ones, but it'll still get the job done. Back at our seat, the last thing I could think of to show you is the curtains. This isn't really a long distance train, nor is it meant for sleep, and because of that, you won't be blocking out a lot of light with these. If you do nap, definitely bring an eye mask. Passing Trenton, New Jersey, we get to the fastest part of the line between DC and New York City, 150 miles an hour. The Acela is currently the fastest passenger train in the Western Hemisphere, and the new train should be able to reach 165 in some of these areas when they debut. The cityscapes take over, and we pass plenty of New Jersey transit trains, and that can only mean one thing: we are getting close to Penn Station. We enter the tunnel into the station and get ready to depart. Make sure you grab everything you brought with you. You don't want to forget anything. Don't forget to check that overhead storage too. And now we're off the Acela, so welcome to New York Penn Station. Like I said, I'm here for one reason, and that's food. So let's go find the subway and get ourselves some cheeseburgers. Well, we made it to Hamburger America. I think I'm going to try the special for this month, the pimento cheeseburger. Getting to sit at the counter and watch them make my food was amazing, especially with the man himself, George Motes at the grill. Talking to him, he recommended I also get a single onion burger, and to be honest, you cannot go wrong. These were, without a doubt, the best cheeseburgers I have ever had, a 10 out of 10 for sure. It has been a very long day, but this bite right here made everything worth it, even if the stash got a bit cheesy. Did I really come from DC on a train that does 150 miles an hour to New York City just to go downtown to get cheeseburgers? Well, stranger things have happened in this world, I suppose. This was a great trip, and I hope you enjoyed one last ride with me on the Amtrak Acela. I know the new train sets will be awesome, and I look forward to getting to experience them with you.
But until next time, I'll see you back on the rails for another epic adventure.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, why not check out this one too?